Hey everybody, this is Human Crowbar here. Welcome back. I have finally gotten around to making my DR video. I'm probably going to throw something in about stamina too. But if you don't know, diminishing returns, like I said, also known as DRs, are really important to tanking. Now, your first thing, you may not know what diminishing returns are. And that's fine, I'm going to explain it right now. It may seem like a big phrase, it's something that's a little bit foreign, but the more and more you hear it, kind of sounds like, if I just say diminishing returns all the time you hear it, it just becomes less foreign, you know it more. It seems like less of a big threatening word. And that's exactly what diminishing returns are. So every time you hear it or see it or it happens, every time it occurs, it diminishes, becomes less with each time it occurs. So this applies to all of our passive defensive stats. Now you're gonna have to, if you don't know what a DK is like, we don't block at all. We use two-hander, and thusly most of our block goes to our parry, and we just get a lot of parry. And we can get into some DK guides a little bit later, but just kind of accept the fact that I have zero block and a lot of parry, and I'll never be able to balance out my dodge and parry, because that's how DKs work out. That is exactly what you want to do, guys. If you're a warrior or a paladin, you are going to need, not should, you are going to need to balance out your defensive stats. Because as a, especially in PvE, or really mostly about PvE, the longer the fight goes, the more diminished your stats will get, right? Just, the longer it just kind of makes sense, right? So, if you're at 20% parry, like myself, and 12% dodge, crazy example, it's going to go down every single time that you dodge and parry. So when you get to like the last minute of the boss, you maybe have like a 3% parry chance and a 0% dodge chance. So that's really bad, and then you just start taking a lot of damage. So the more those are evened out, the less that happens. So that way, like if you start you get like a lucky string of 3 parries, and it doesn't diminish this heavily. I'll actually throw a graphic up. It doesn't diminish this heavily, but let's just say, for the sake of things, that if you parry 3 times in a row, you've dropped from 16% parry to 13% parry. But you still have 16% block and 16% dodge. So what's going to happen next? You're more likely to dodge your block, right? Now, I'm going to give you a minute to take out a pen and paper. I'm going to try to slow down a little bit. Now, I threw this graphic up because I wanted you to see the site that I was going to, so you can see that I'm not making this up. But also, I don't want you to focus on that too much, because it looks like a lot of math, and it's not really important for you to figure out exactly how DRs work. Just kind of accept that they're there, and you don't have to do the math. All those nerdy guys on the internet will do that for you. So that's kind of great. So, now, you started with 16% block, dodge, and parry. And you've parried 3 times in a row. And that's just for the sake of argument, you lose 1% every time you parry. So you're down to 13% parry, you got 16% dodge, and 16% block. Now let's just say that you randomly block twice and dodge once, so you're down to 14 block, excuse me, and 1 dodge. So now you're at 14 block, 15 dodge, and 13 parry. Now, just by the nature of things, you're more likely to dodge. So let's just say you get another lucky 2 dodges in a row, and you're down to 13 dodge, 13 parry, and 14 block. Now you're pretty evened out, but then you just get a random parry, so you're down to 12% parry, 13% dodge. So that's just kind of the way that works out, and it's going to balance itself out eventually. But if you have a huge gap, it's not going to work that way. You're going to end up with 0% dodge again. So that kind of wraps up DRs, diminishing returns. The more you say it, the easier it is to understand, right? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. You can try to message me in the game. I'm on Tichondria's board. If you didn't notice. Didn't anymore. But it's just easier to check the comments because I'm not always on. I'm not always on that tune and all that stuff. So anyway, I want to talk about stamina. Because it's a problem I see out there a lot, and I think it had roots, because it was important at one time. Now, I heard that back in the Wrath of the Lich King, stamina wasn't good, but it was required for tanks. So, I mean, let me get into that a little bit more. It's not good now. So if you see tanks that are doing that, just kind of like politely disregard their opinion. It's really bad. Anyway, So I'm gonna get into that. Wrath of Lich King, tanks or bosses were hitting tanks for more than their entire health pools, with regardless of mitigation. So you had to stack stamina to not get one shot. But that being said, that's not how it is anymore. If that's happening to you, you're just not doing the mechanic correctly. So you shouldn't really do that. Now stamina, when you think about it, it's bad for two reasons. Every point you go into stamina, it's a point you're not going into mitigation. So that's not fun for your healers. Two, and also the less mitigation you have, it's not just like the more damage you take, it's the more spike damage you take. And then whenever you see your health moving like a yo-yo, just up and down and up and down, that is bad, and it's probably on you. So this is another way you can avoid that. But the other reason is, like, if you think about having like a 400k health pool and a 500k health pool, now your healers have to heal an extra 100k to keep you at max health. Now, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, and it doesn't seem like it actually matters, but it does. Because if you get hit down to a percentage of your health, which happens in boss mechanics, you're just gonna, it's gonna make them heal more. And over the course of a fight, 100k, it adds up. It does. So that's another reason. It's really not a tanking stat. So it makes me sad to see a lot of tanks using stamina trinkets or stacking stamina gems. Every time I see a blue gem, no matter what tune I'm on, I cry. Because, I mean, my Resto Druid doesn't need spirit, tanks don't need stamina, I don't need hit on any of my DPS, but, you know, whatever. This video is already getting long. I just wanted it to be short. I probably shouldn't have put stamina in, but I felt like they were pretty closely tied together. But again, I want to do a little bit more quicker videos, but still keep the level of depth pretty, because that makes sense, right? Anyway, so I'm going to throw on a blooper reel because this is annoying, and it took me a lot of tries to get the intro right, so it's pretty funny. Go ahead and laugh at my misfortune, douche. Hey everybody, this is Human Crowbar here. Welcome back. I have finally gotten around to making my Diminishing Returns video. I just wanted to make a little short video, and I kind of been putting it off because it's kind of boring. But it's super, super important. Now, Diminishing Returns, otherwise known as DRs, are really, really important. I just said that, didn't I? That's like the done so many times. Hey everybody, it's Human Crowbar here. God damn cold! Sinuses, leave me alone! Anyway guys, that brings an end to this video, and just always make sure to thank your pugs, and learn how to type beforehand. But until next time guys, catch you on the flip side.